ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। Hare Krishna. My humble pranams to all devotees of Lakshmi Narsimha Giridhari Mandir. My respects to His Grace Varda Krishna Prabhu, Murli Shyam Prabhu, and all the senior Vaishnavas and devotees. Hare Krishna. So today we are going to discuss the topic of the role of negativity, because now you know so much of negative and discouraging factors are there around us, and every year it is worsening. 2015 was worse than 14, and 16 was worse than 15, and 2020 is even worse than 2019. So it is a simple fact we can agree that Kali Yuga is progressing, and nobody can protect us from these bad effects of Kali Yuga. Newer and newer kinds of issues, diseases, and challenges we are facing, and it's growing year by year. So this situation morally discourages almost everyone, and sometimes it is very surprising to see that even spiritualists are getting discouraged. Spiritualists are those people who are supposed to survive all kinds of challenges, but even they are getting discouraged. Many questions shoots us up. Some people are asking, why such a senior spiritual man got this disease? Why such and such senior member passed away by the disease? Why such a wonderful spiritualist lost his job and struggling for livelihood? Why there is marital issues between such and such personality? Sometimes a devotee who is practicing Krishna consciousness for even 15-20 years gets these kind of questions. So what is real favor? So today our topic is about negativity and favor versus unfavor. What is the real favor of Supreme Lord Krishna upon us? What is the real blessing? That's our question. What's that real blessing? We go in front of sadhus, we go in front of many spiritually uplifted people, enlightened ones, and we beg them and we request them, please bless us. What does that mean? when we say, I need blessings, I seek blessings, what do we really expect by saying, Prabhuji, Maharajji, Hare Vaishnava, Sadhu, please bless me? What do we really expect? Many times it is surprising to know that we are expecting some material favor. Most of the times it is that material favor. Let my daughter get married, let my son get a good placement, let my health problems be over, my family, my children, they don't have babies, That is what are we really expecting by asking for blessings? Please bless me, please favor me so that I can expand my material assets and material joy. So, today we are going to discuss a couple of leelas from Bhagavatam, which very clearly says what is real favor and what is blessings, So, first we will discuss the story of Vritrasura, very special pastime, of Vritrasura from Srimad Bhagavatam. Very, very strange and very, very special. And whenever we speak of, Acharyas speak of Bhagavatam, they explain two leelas from Bhagavatam which explains the nature of Bhagavatam. The two special leelas. One is Chitraketu Upakyana, the story of Chitraketu, and the second is Mohini Avatar. These are the two main aspects of Bhagavatam, which is highlighted to be the nature of Bhagavatam. Chitraketu Upakyana, the Leela of Chitraketu, and Mohini Avatar. So today, now let us start with Chitraketu. Chitraketu later on got a curse to take birth as Vritrasura. Very important. Devotees should learn this, and this is from the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Chitraketu was a Vidyadhara. Like Yaksha, Kinnara, Gandharva, Vidyadhara. They are better humans, better beings than human beings. They are better. They are in higher planets, but not devas. They are in between human and devas. They are Yaksha, Kinnara, Gandharva and Vidyadharas. They are not as powerful as devas, but at the same time they have lot of powers more than humans. Vidyadhara. And Chitraketu was the king of Vidyadharas. And he had hundreds and thousands of wives, and he had lot of wealth, power, riches, whatever a human being can expect in this mortal world. Chitraketu had got everything. Everything Chitraketu has got. But still, Chitraketu was very dissatisfied. Very dissatisfied because he did not had a baby boy. He didn't had a son. Because family means there should be wealth, there should be health, there should be children. Very important. So Chitraketu, even though he had all the riches in this world, still Chitraketu was dissatisfied because he didn't had a baby boy. So one day, Chitraketu approached the great sage Angiras, and seeked blessings and said, "Oh great sage Angiras, please bless me so that I can have a son." Then Angiras spoke a very beautiful lesson. My dear devotees, this is very important what Angiras said to Chitraketu. Angiras told, "Hey Raja Chitraketu, no material blessings in this world can make you satisfied. Rather, there is nothing that is existing in this material world which can make us 100% happy. Wealth, health, relationship, everything has got good as well as bad. There is nothing, no such material blessings exist in this world which can make us completely satisfied. So devotees, we should understand. So we should not completely sell our soul for some material reasons, because there is nothing like that. So Angiras told Chitraketu, but how much ever Angiras explained this to Chitraketu, even being a devotee, Chitraketu did not realize this. Chitraketu was a wonderful devotee of Krishna, Narayana, but Chitraketu didn't realize. He was little adamant and stubborn that I should have a baby boy. And finally Angiras gave that blessings, a kheer, and Chitraketu, he performed a yajna, and he gave that kheer to his wife. Kritadyuti, even though Chitraketu had multiple wives, Kritadyuti, that wife became pregnant, and Chitraketu became so happy with her, because out of all the wives, she is the only one person who is going to bring kid for Chitraketu. So naturally Chitraketu started spending all the time with her, and this made other wives jealous. And finally Kritadyuti delivered a beautiful baby boy, very handsome, good looking, amazing, attracting everyone's heart. So after getting the baby boy, Chitraketu started spending all his time with the boy and his mother, and the jealous of other wives multiplied to a severe magnitude. They developed a huge jealous. And very unfortunate to say, if we are disturbed, we will lose the discrimination between right and wrong. You can read in newspapers that, a father killing his own babies, it's all kinds of strange news. When we are deeply disturbed at heart, we will lose the discrimination between right and wrong. We will not realize what is right and what is wrong. So when all the multiple wives of Chitraketu, when they got disturbed, they became jealous, they lost the discrimination between right and wrong, and they fed poison to the baby and killed that baby. Such a painful thing. Chitraketu, after so much of penance and anxiety and begging blessings from sadhus, he got a baby boy. And look at this, so strange, that baby boy was fed poison and he is no more. Chitraketu became unconscious. He could not face that pain, the miserable pain in the heart of Chitraketu. He will wake up, think about his baby boy, wail loudly, scream loudly like a mad person. Again he will fall unconscious. Again he will wake up, think about his son, and he will feel that pain and he will feel unconscious. That became Chitraketu's situation. And finally Angiras once again came with Narada Muni. Angiras and his great friend Narada Muni, both of them came. They were trying to console Chitraketu, and Narada Muni said, Chitraketu, as Angiras had already taught you, there is nothing in this material world which can make us 100% happy. Not our family, neither all the wealth which we have acquired, nor our health, nor all the beautiful relationship which we have got in this life, not the positions which we have acquired. None of these things will make us 100% happy. Everything has got the capacity to give pleasure as well as pain. But unfortunately in Kali Yuga, pain is more in every situation than pleasure. And Narada Muni went on instructing, and even though Chitraketu was a devotee, completely devoted to Supreme Lord, chanting his glories, he could not understand this. Then when Narada Muni and Angiras, when they found out that Chitraketu is not convinced, and the most miraculous thing they did, look at the power of sages, look at the power of those personalities who have completely controlled and mastered them. Immediately Narada smiled, and the most miraculous thing happened. The baby boy who is dead just got up and sat down. The boy, he just got up and sat down, and our acharyas say that the boy's name is Harsha Shoka, very special name. Harsha Shoka. Harsha means joy, Shoka means sadness. Will you name anybody like that? Joy and sadness, Harsha Shoka. He has got a very unique name which simply tells us this material world is full of pleasure and pain. Matra sparshastu kaunteya sitaushna sukha dukkada agama apayino anityastam stitikshasva bharata. Matra sparshastu kaunteya sitaushna sukha dukkada. Summer and rainy seasons are not permanent. Neither summer season is permanent, nor rainy season is permanent. Agama apayino anityas. Both of them are temporary. They appear and they disappear. In the same way, neither sukha, joy is permanent, neither dukkha, misery is permanent. Both will come and go. So a self-realized spiritual person will not get affected by that. So that's why this baby is called Harsha Shoka, joy and pain and pleasure. So all of a sudden, miraculously, the baby boy just woke up and sat down. And the king Chitraketu became so jubilant. He was jumping in joy and screaming. He was jumping. Because he just argued with Narada. He said, Narada, what is this? After so many years of begging for mercy, I got this baby boy. And all of a sudden, again I lost him. How cruel is material nature. This is like giving vision to a blind man and again snatching his eyes back. Better to leave him blind. Why did they give me blessings if they are going to snatch the blessings immediately? The pain when I didn't have a baby was much more manageable than the pain I am suffering now. I got the baby and again I lost this baby. That is why Narada Muni miraculously brought the son back. And Chitraketu was jubilant, jumping in joy, became so happy. Then Chitraketu ran and embraced the boy to his bosom, putting on his chest, smelling his head and rubbing his hair, caressing his body. He was shedding tears. He became so happy that I got my son back. Then he called, my dear son. Then immediately Harsha Shoka smiled and said, who are you? Who are you? Then Chitraketu said, I am your father. Then the boy very gravely answered, my dear Maharaja Chitraketu, I have taken millions and millions of janma. You also have taken millions of janma. In each janma I had millions, I had so many people as my fathers. In every janma I had a father and I fathered to many. In the same way, you also had so many fathers in every janma. Every janma you had a father. So who is the real father? One day I had a king as my father. In one Janma, I had a farmer as my father. In another Janma, I had a thief, a murderer as my father. In some other Janma, I had a bird as my father, tree as my father. So who is the real father? Every day, every life is like a dream. Which life I should take or I should give importance to? And this one will also pass away. I will again take birth. Nothing is permanent. And the boy explained the beautiful Atma Tattva, philosophy of the soul, and again he fell down dead, left his body. But this time, Maharaja Chitraketu was convinced. When the same message was given by Narada, Maharaja was not convinced. But when Harshashuka, his own son, got up and spoke all these things, Chitraketu was convinced. That too happens. Sometimes when we go and preach to our family members, explain to our family members, the same truth may not work. But when a third person, when a stranger, when some other devotee, when they come and explain, people take it up. Like Prabhupada, the famous example, Prabhupada could not convince his wife, but Prabhupada gave this glorious message to whole world. Thousands and millions of people took it up. It's very important to know that. So Chitraketu was convinced. Then Bhagavatam says, beautifully for thousands and thousands of years, with all his wives, he was singing the glories of Krishna and traveling from one place to another. So, what is a blessing now? Now Chitraketu lost the son. Which is the real blessing? When Chitraketu got his son or when Chitraketu lost his son? A similar incident happened some few years back. A couple didn't have baby. And they were so worried that they don't have baby. And society was also insulting them. So they have gone to so many temples and prayed. They did so many pujas and this and that. And finally, one day, the lady became pregnant and they had a baby. And they were very attached to the baby. The parents were very, very attached to the baby. And then after some years, after I think 4 or 5 years, the baby passed away. That was very miserable to the parents. The parents could not digest it. It was like more than what they can take it up. And the mother was almost unconscious and like a mad person. They were not taking proper food. They were not sleeping. And finally, both of them became health patients. Situation became too worse. Then one day they approached an astrologer. Then the astrologer examined and said, a great Atma came and took birth as your son. And that great personality had only 4 years left back in human form before he attains moksha, liberation. He is supposed to take a human form for 4 years. Then after 4 years, he will become liberated. He will go back to Godhead, attain moksha. So he came to your house because you both are wonderful devotees. He came to your house, spent that 4 years, and he went back to Vaikuntha. So what is that? That's a blessing. The Jivatma has gone back to Vaikuntha, and this couple had become a reason for that. What an amazing blessing. Many times we don't know what is right and wrong. We think wrong to be right and right to be wrong. So, Chitraketu, after that, he was very deeply convinced and very happy, and he was always chanting the glories of Krishna, and he was traveling from one planet to another, and that's where he's spending life. And one day, when Chitraketu was going on his celestial airplane, all the devas had very powerful airplanes. So when Vidyadhara Chitraketu was traveling in his airplane with his hundreds and thousands of wives, he saw, in Ilavrta Varsha, Lord Shiva is giving beautiful spiritual messages to sadhus and sannyasis, rishis and sages. There are many, many glowing, brilliant, tejasvi sadhus sitting, rishis sitting there, and Lord Shiva is speaking, giving message, giving philosophical explanation, Atma Tattva, explaining about the glories and of the soul and all kinds of spiritual knowledge. When Lord Shiva was speaking like this, all of a sudden Mother Parvati came and sat on Shiva's lap. That's a very strange thing, Like some Prabhuji is giving class in temple Vyasasana, sitting in the temple Vyasasana and giving class, and all of a sudden his wife comes and sits next to him in the Vyasasana. People will feel strange. What is this happening? Sometimes we can't digest certain things. So when Mother Parvati came and sat on Lord Shiva's lap, and Chitraketu, he was flying in the airplane, and he smiled, he laughed and said, Mahadev, what is happening here? You are giving Atma Tattva to all the sages and rishis. You are speaking about the greatest spiritual truth. And Mother Durga is sitting on your lap. What is this happening? He smiled and cracked a joke. Chitraketu cracked a joke, And Lord Shiva cracked the joke back. He returned the joke saying that you are not supposed to say this. If somebody else comment about this, I will be happy to take up that comment. Look at you traveling with 1,000 queens, your wives, and you are commenting having one wife on my lap. You are not supposed, Chitraketu cracked a joke and Lord Shiva cracked a joke back. That's all, it's over. But Mother Parvati was very disturbed. How can Vidyadhara crack a joke on Lord Shiva, who is a great master, who has mastered his senses, one among Trimurtis, controller of tamas in the whole creation, such a greatest personality, Atma, Rama, Niranjana. How can Chitraketu crack a joke on Lord Shiva? So Parvati became very angry and cursed Chitraketu, you will take birth as an asura. And Lord Shiva told Parvati, why are you doing this, Devi? There is no need for you to do this. Because Chitraketu is a wonderful devotee. Why did you do this? And Chitraketu smiled and said, Mother Parvati, you should understand that everything happens by the supreme will of that absolute truth, Krishna. We are all dependent tiny masters. But these tiny masters are nothing in front of the supreme master. Everything will be possible only by the blessings of the supreme master. But still, since I respect you, I will take it up the curse. And Chitraketu said an amazing to Mother Parvati. He is speaking to Parvati, not to anybody else. And Parvati is one of the masters of this creation she controls 24 elements, she controls so many things. And to her Chitraketu said, we have powers, but we are definitely not Supreme God. Supreme God is simply Narayana. And if he wants me to suffer, I will definitely suffer. And if he wants me to enjoy, I will definitely enjoy. Who can stop me? And Chitraketu said an amazing example to Mother Parvati. Chitraketu said, a dog may know to swim. Dogs know swimming by birth. Dogs never went for a swimming class or something like that. Dogs will naturally swim. They have that swimming talent by birth. But it doesn't mean somebody can catch a dog's tail and cross an ocean. That will be the greatest stupidity. So this is the example quoted by Chitraketu to Mother Parvati. He said, we may be like dogs who have got power. We may have powers. Dogs can naturally swim, but that will be the greatest stupidity to catch a dog's tail and try to cross the ocean. It's the greatest stupidity. We are all tiny masters. We should never be egoistic with our power. And Chitraketu said this to Mother Parvati, one of the greatest Devi. And he said, still I will accept your curse. And Lord Shiva told Parvati, Durga, what is the point in cursing Chitraketu? He's the greatest devotee. Look at him. What happened now? Nothing has affected him. Then Lord Shiva spoke the famous sloka of Bhagavatam. Swarga apavarga narakeshu apitulyartha darshinaha. Swarga, whether he is in Swarga, apavarga, whether he is in Vaikunta, Naraka, even he goes to Naraka, apitulyartha darshinaha. A devotee will see these places equally. Nothing will influence him nor hate him. Tulya ninda stutir mauni santushto yena kenachit. They are equally equipoised in ninda and stuti. You insult them, you hurt them, you appreciate them, you glorify them, whatever you do, they will always maintain their equilibrium. So Durga, Devi, what is the point in cursing? Then Parvati realized, what is the point in cursing Chitraketu? He was not affected at all. When I cursed him that you will take birth a demon, he was very openly receiving it. Then Mother Parvati realized. Then this great King Chitraketu took birth as an Asura, the powerful Vritrasura. Very important lesson of Bhagavatam. Powerful Vritrasura. He was, and see, look at this. He is a great devotee, wonderful devotee, but by the curse of Mother Parvati, he took birth as an Asura. He was traveling all the 14 planetary systems and capturing that 14 planetary systems, and the Devas are running in 8 directions. They are scared of Vritrasura. The moment they hear name Vritrasura, they will all leave their abode and they will run away. Indra, Varuna, Agni, Vayu, Chandra, all the great Devas, they ran away. They could not face Vritrasura. The moment they hear Vritrasura's conch shell sound, the trumpet sound, they will all run away leaving their abode. And Vritrasura, without fighting, he will capture their abode. Huge Vritrasura was very powerful. Look at this, a devotee taking birth as an Asura. And Vritrasura happily conquering the world. Right? Then Indra went and begged to Narayana. Oh Narayana, please protect me, please save me. We are not able to fight with this demon Vritrasura. He is conquering us, he is chasing it out of the place. How will we manage the duties of this material planetary systems? Then finally Lord Narayana gave an idea to Indra and said, Indra, don't worry. With you can never kill Vritrasura. He is very, very powerful than you. With your weapons, you can never kill him. But you can do one thing. You can meet a sage called Dadichi. Go and beg his backbone as a charity. And with that backbone, you can make Vajrayuta. And with that Vajrayuta, you can kill Vritrasura. Look at the situation of Indra. Vajrayuta from the backbone of Maharishi Dadichi. So Vajra means diamond, which means also strong. Because diamond is a unique element, a gem, which can cut even steel. There is no element in this world which can cut diamond, but there is no element which diamond cannot cut also. That is why they say diamond, Vajra, like Narasimhadev's nail was called Vajra Naka, and the same time it is called Kamalavare Nakam. So, Acharyas, the Upanishad, the scriptures explain, Lord Narasimha's nail is as strong as a diamond, as soft as a lotus petal. How is that possible? How can there be any object in this world which can be so strong as a diamond and so soft as a petal? It is like there is another shloka in Brahma Samhita which says about Krishna, Adyam Purana Purusham Navayavvanam Cha. How is that possible? Krishna is the oldest person, Adyam Purana Purusham, the first human, the first person, the oldest person, And at the same time, Navayavvanamcha is very new, ever fresh, young, new person. How is that possible? You know, the scripture says Krishna is very old as well as new. How can I say? Can we say that somebody, some devotee, you know, he's a very old devotee, at the same time new devotee? How is that possible? Then Upanishad explains, as old as sun and as new as sunshine. Sun is a very old, but sunshine is every day newer and newer rays are coming and sunshine is new. As old as sun and as new as sunshine. You know. So Krishna told Indra, go and approach Dadichi Maharshi and beg his backbone as a charity, and with that you make Vajrayuta and fight. So Indra went like an old man. Old Brahmana, he assumed the old Brahmana's form, and Indra went to Dadichi Maharshi. And Indra said, oh great sage Dadichi, please give something in charity. I beg something in charity, please don't deny. Please do a favor of granting that to me, I need that, you know. Then Dadichi smilingly said, I am a sage. I am a sadhu living in jungle. I don't have anything on my own. Whatever I possess simply is my gyan and vairagya, my renunciation and my knowledge. That is the only thing I possess. This is the real wealth of a sadhu. If somebody wants to progress very seriously in Krishna consciousness, he should possess only these two wealth. And the two wealth are Gyan and Vairagya, knowledge about Krishna and renunciation from this material world. Jnana Vairagya are the only wealth in this material world. And Dadichi said, that is the only wealth I have and I don't have anything else. And Indra in the form of a Brahmana said, no, you have something you have to give me. You please make a promise. And Dadichi said, okay, I will give if I have something. Then again Dadichi said, see, you don't look like a Brahmana. You don't look, your body may look like a Brahmana, your features may look like Brahmana, but your eyes says that you are very selfish and you are behind something. So much he wanted his kingdom back. Indra wanted his kingdom back. So much he wanted to defeat Vratrasura. He went and begged a backbone as a charity from Dadichi. Look at his pitiable situation. You can see many people in Kali Yuga, they can't control their tongue. They can't control their tongue. For the simple palatable taste, they kill innocent cows and goats and all these animals. Is human so hungry? He can't control the 4-inch tongue, and once the food crosses the 4-inch tongue, the moment it goes to the throat, you don't know whether it is roti or chawal or sabji. Everything is just a chunk of food. That is all, it loses taste. Somebody asked a great, wonderful question to a great sadhu. What is the difference between spiritualist and materialist? A beautiful question asked to sadhu by one man. What is the difference between spiritualist and materialist? Then the sadhu said, you can see many cows hanging in the butcher shop. In slaughterhouse, in the butcher shop, you can see on the roadside many cows will be hanging. The butcher has butchered the cows and he is about to sell the meat. I am from Kerala, and if you travel on Sundays, you can see on both sides there is butcher shops and cows and goats hanging. Then the sadhu said, if the man gets tear in eyes, then he is a spiritualist. At the same time, he gets water on his tongue, salivate on his tongue, then he is materialist. When we see a cow hanging in a butcher shop and eyes get wet, then I am a spiritualist. When my tongue gets wet, then I am a materialist. It's a beautiful answer given by sadhu. People are so hungry for name, fame, position, glory, everything. Indra was so blind to get his kingdom back. He did the big abominable thing. Went and took the backbone of Dadichi Maharshi. And when Dadichi came to know that is Krishna's order, Dadichi became so jubilant, so happy, he was jumping in joy. He said, Narayana wanted this charity from me. I was wondering, I was praying every day how to give up this body and go attain his lotus feet. But today Narayana personally wanted my backbone. How glorious I am. Indra, you come, please take. By saying this, the sage Dadichi immediately went into trance. He mastered his senses, controlled his senses, and deeply meditating on Paramatma in his heart. And Indra took a cow horn, a horn from a cow, and killed Dadichi and took that backbone and made Vajrayuta. And Dadichi attained the lotus feet of Godhead. So Indra made Vajrayuta and he once again went to battle. And this time with the help of Vajrayuta, Indra could kill all the demons. And the demons got so scared and they all ran away from the battlefield. And the only person who was remaining alone in the battlefield was Vritrasura. He was not scared and he was standing alone. And he told Indra, actually, by giving you idea, Narayana gave you idea. By giving you idea, by favoring you, he unfavored you. And by unfavoring me, he favored me. And Indra could not understand. Vritrasura said, Indra, you are thinking you are actually blessed by Lord Narayana because he gave you idea how to kill me. You think you are blessed. No, you are not blessed because you will kill me, you will become the emperor back and you will rule, and again you will take birth again and again and again, and you will be ever trapped in this samsara sagara. But me, I will die this very same moment and I will go back to Godhead. By unfavoring he favored me, and by favoring he unfavored you. This is the important lesson of Vritrasura's life. What is the real favor? One day in Krishna and Arjuna, Mahabharata, a beautiful story. My dear devotees, please listen to this. A beautiful story. Arjuna and Krishna, they were traveling in chariot in Mahabharata, it says. And they were hungry. And they saw an old nani, an old lady in a hut. They went and asked, can we get something to eat? Then the lady happily ran inside, cooked some rice and brought some buttermilk. Very simple feast she made. Buttermilk and rice and whatever she ran. Because Krishna came to my house, she was so happy running around and everything, and she cooked a wonderful food, and Krishna and Arjuna, they ate that so delicious food. Then that lady said, Krishna, please bless me. Then Krishna blessed that lady, saying that, you let your cow be dead today. Let your cow die today. You will not have any more cow. Let your cow die today. And Arjuna was very surprised. What kind of Ashirwad, what kind of Anugraha blessings are you giving? That lady struggled and made food for us. Giving her some other blessings, you have blessed that let her cow die. Then Krishna said, she is very dear to me because she always chants holy name. Unfortunately, she has a cow in her house and she is so deeply attached to cow. And every day she is bathing and serving, and wherever she goes, cow. Because of that attachment, simple attachment, she is not able to go back to Godhead. So I blessed her, let the cow dies and she is free to attain Godhead. So initially it may look like unfavor, but eventually it's a favorable thing. Initially it may look like a curse, but it is not a curse, it's a blessings in disguise. Same thing in our material life. Sometimes challenges, different kinds of problems, and our simple material intelligence will never understand that. We will think, why Krishna is so cruel? After praying, after chanting, why God this to me? But actually it is a blessings in disguise, you will know only later. So how much ever Vritrasura was explaining to Indra, Indra could not realize at all. Then with the Vajrayuta, so powerfully he fought and he chopped one arm of Vritrasura. So Indra chopped one arm of Vritrasura and the arm fell down. With another arm, Vritrasura gave one slap to Indra and Indra's Vajrayudha fell. So now Vritrasura is telling Indra, take your Vajrayudha, come and kill me, fight with me ferociously, show your anger, show your power, take this thing. So Indra is wondering, he is encouraging me to kill him. What kind of enemy is he? Then Vritrasura answered, Indra, either way I will win and you are going to be the loser. And Indra asked, how? If you don't pick up your Vajrayudha and kill me, I am going to kill you. If you don't kill me, I will kill you. One. And the second thing, if you kill me, I will attain back to Godhead. And if you don't kill me, I will kill you. Either way, I win. Because I am a devotee of Krishna, thinking of Krishna so intensely and deeply, if at all you are successful in killing me, I will at the very same moment think about Narayana and go back to Narayana. But if you fail to kill me, I will kill you. If you kill me, I will go back to Godhead. If you don't kill me, I will become the emperor by killing you. So either way, I win. Either way, you lose. How? By killing me, because you killed a devotee, you will incur all kinds of sin. And you will take birth in this material world again and again. And if you don't kill me, I will kill you. So either way you lose and either way I win. So we should exactly understand what is favor and what is a curse. Many times Krishna's blessings will look like a curse. Sometimes our business is not good, family relationships are not good, health is not good, and we think, I was praying to Krishna sincerely and why Krishna did not bless me. But actually, there is a hidden blessings. We may realize or we may not realize. Everything has got a hidden message. Krishna is trying to convince something. So Chitraketu, Vritrasura happily said, you kill me, I want to go back to God. And if you don't kill me, I will kill you and I will become the emperor. And Vritrasura, Indra chopped the second arm of Vritrasura. Vritrasura screamed and he sucked all the enemies. He sucked all the enemies, including Indra. Vritrasura sucked Indra also. So they all went inside Vritrasura's belly. And Indra chopped Vritrasura's belly and he came down. Vritrasura screamed Krishna's name and fell down dead. But at the same time, Vritrasura went back to Godhead. This is very important to know what is favor. Many times we think, my health has a problem, I have a job loss, my relationships are having problems, so something it's not good, bad time. There's no. Maybe Krishna is giving some kind of blessings in disguise. It may look like a curse externally. That's a beautiful line explained by Acharyas. It is said, if you pray something and God supplies you, that means you are blessed. If you pray something and the God delays, supplying it late, delays, that means God is testing you. If you pray something and that doesn't happen at all, then God is telling, my dear devotee, don't ask for it, it is not good for you, I have something better for you. So, every pain and pleasure is a beautiful lesson for all of us. And pains have got more lessons to realize in Krishna consciousness. So that is the lesson from Vritrasura episode. So don't think all unfavorable situations are unfavorable. Every unfavorable situation has got a hidden favorable instance. Please understand this and put this in practice and be successful in Krishna consciousness. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Prabhu.